Thanks for sticking with us here on Adelante Chicago. Well, the 5th annual Latin Restaurant Weeks is happening right now. It is a great opportunity to experience the best of Latin American cuisine without having to leave our city. 20 restaurants are taking part this year. That's down considerably, though, from 45 last year. So the big question becomes why, right? There's been a lot of talk about some of the ICE rates and that perhaps that could be a cause for the decline in restaurant participation. So the co-founder of Latin Restaurant Weeks, Karen Chavarria Luckett, is joining us now to tell us more about how they're helping some of the restaurant owners with some of these concerns. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and I talk about sort of the political landscape right now and how that may be impacting restaurants from joining or maybe not being willing to join Latin Restaurant Weeks because they're afraid. Is that something that you're noticing?
Yes and no. I think, Latin Restaurant Weeks has always been about impact and not numbers, but it's hard to face the truth when you see it, like you said, from 70 restaurants to 20 restaurants. And so we have to look into that, right? I think that there has been a sentiment of maybe anxiety or just a little bit of fear in certain communities. But those who are participating are really wanting that visibility. And I think we have to look at it in totality. Inflation, consumers have gone down, rent increases, labor shortage, and all those reasons kind of, I think, have shifted the priorities of some of these businesses to maybe focus on staying open. And so I think that's one of the pain points that we're seeing, as well as like the fear and anxiety through immigration.
That makes sense. Sort of a string of things that have all coalesced and come together at the very same time. Talk about how Latin Restaurant Weeks is able to help some of these restaurants, because you do put a certain amount of marketing behind this program and making sure that you showcase all of these different restaurants that are a part of it.
Yeah, so we like to consider ourselves like a marketing vessel. And so for 2 weeks, we encourage the restaurants to offer a special that will really entice new patrons to come and try them out or to visit an old favorite. And so what we do is a big publicity campaign and efforts on social media, our newsletter, and just find ways to connect them with the community and really get that engagement and that foot traffic up for them.
Yeah, that makes a difference. Okay, so tell me about some of the restaurants. Run me through the list. I know Tacotlan is one of them, but which are some of the other ones?
Yeah, so we have everything from Ponce Restaurant, which is Puerto Rican.
Oh, that's a favorite, yeah.
I know, I love it. Our Tango Bar and Steakhouse, so you can get a nice little steak. And I love Venezuelan food, so Sabe Azulia is really great for those cachapas and Venezuelan fare. Cinco Rabanitos, Five Rabanitos is a classic for your Mexican. And then what I really love about LRW is that we have food trucks too, like Buen Provecho. And we also have like coffee shops like Café con Leche. And then there's a new one that just came on board, Dulce de Leche Cafe. So you can go get your cafecito, enjoy some pastries and some great food.
Yeah. And for folks that have never been a part of it before, and we have sort of Chicago Restaurant Week, maybe people might be familiar with that. I assume it works very much the same way, where the restaurants will have a set menu with an entree, an appetizer, and a dessert, and you pay a flat fee.
Similar concept, but we're celebrating the Latin cuisine. And I guess a little bit of difference is chefs have kind of the autonomy and freedom of creating a special menu. So it could look like a 3-course, like at Carnival, the famous Carnival, Chicago. They have a delicious 3-course meal, whereas maybe some smaller concepts might have like a buy one, get one, or just a discounted rate on one of their menu items. So a little bit for everyone, and definitely some cost savings.
Oh, what a great way to introduce people to our culture and our food. We do have information that we want to put up on the screen about Latin Restaurant Weeks. There you go. It runs until August 29th, so you've got a little bit of time. If you go to that website, you will see a full list of all the restaurants that are participating this year, and we hope that next year, perhaps, you get more of them to come out. Thank you so much for your time. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
All right.